All right, Southland Conference volleyball fans, Thursday afternoon, and the Nichols Colonels are in town, and we get a first chance to meet up with Kallie Noble, new head coach over in Thibodaux. So like we do all during the year as we travel and as opponents come in, try and get you introduced to new faces or players that have made an impact in the Southland. And so first, Kallie, I want to say just thank you for being willing to chat and welcome to Nacogdoches for the first time.
Yes, happy to be here.
Let me ask you first, what's the thing that excites you the most about Nichols volleyball?
I think just the eagerness and the players' willingness to work hard, and they're just hungry to win. And it's a great conference to be a part of, and to have those opportunities to get the wins, and but then take the losses too. So it's a great conference to be a part of.
So, of course, coming into this conference, I mean, you have some familiarity in your background with Texas volleyball. We'll get into that in a little bit, but just a few numbers at you. As you know, over the last decade, Nichols has won just 35 conference matches. SFA has won 33 in the last 2 years. So you face a challenge. So it's like, what was your what do you think the biggest challenge is? And the real question is, how do you set attainable goals?
Well, coming into SFA this weekend, obviously I think they're receiving top 25 votes. And so we just have taken it as an opportunity for us to get to compete against a top program in the country, and just learning to take care of our side of the net, and just give them a run for their money if we can, and just really trying to execute on our side of the net.
So when you came in and you kind of made that to-do list, when you met with your club, what were some of the things that you did set as, okay, I think this is an attainable achievement. Can we shoot towards X? What was X?
Well, initially X was to get the players to build their confidence. I didn't remove anyone from the team. I have the same roster as they did last season. I did bring in some folks, but just getting them. I knew that they were great players. I had watched enough film on them during the interview process that I knew that I had quality players. It was just building their confidence, and creating an offense and defensive system that was effective for them. But the X was we want to make the conference tournament, and so. Well, I should take a step back. Initially, their initial goal were it was 8 wins. We, well, no, 8 wins total. Yes, and we achieved that goal, and it was like, okay, well, yeah. So the next one is obviously the conference tournament, and so each day we work hard trying to obtain that goal, and then once we achieve that, then obviously a conference championship.
Nichols, for those that are watching this, has already won this season more matches than they have the last two matches combined. They come into this road trip 10-7 after a season last year that saw them win only 3 matches. You had that tally at the first weekend of play. You know, the experience for some of these players, like you said, you had the same roster. The experience for some of them last year was a little rocky. It's a tough thing to go through at the end of the year, what that club went through with suspensions and ultimately a resignation. So when you came in, were there trust building exercises? Were there things specifically, you talked a lot about confidence, were there things early on that like that we're going to do this exercise just for that purpose?
Well, things all work out, but we ultimately added beach volleyball. So I just removed all of them from the indoor game, and we focused on beach volleyball. And so we kind of put indoor aside, and beach is a very fun, a little lighter environment. So we focused on that, and then we really didn't touch indoor until August when we saw them in preseason. So. And then in preseason, it's a trust thing, and we just statted everything. So there were no favorites. There were, everything was statted. And so, and that's how we initially created our starting lineup, et cetera.
So when you think back over your past experiences and travels, you were at University of St. Thomas for a while, which is near here, and you've had some assistant coaching responsibilities that involve recruiting and watching other coaches. What do you think are those characteristics in yourself that make you the best fit for this? Like when you applied for this and you said, yeah, I can do this. Like, what is it in your past that makes you best equipped to guide this team?
I think just having had been at St. Thomas, and learning some of those first-year head coaching mistakes. We had a great first season there, and the second season I thought, well, we'll just go schedule all top 25 teams and win. And we started 0-8 or 0-7, and so I've been through those growing pains, and so I think just being smarter in terms of scheduling and just preparation for matches and travel. I've done this for almost 12 years, so you just kind of learn what works and what doesn't work.
Let's get into some specifics now about the season, about some players, about a few things. The match at HBU, that was a head turner. I've talked to several people since on travels, and when that went down and everybody's looking at the scoreboard, Nichols went to HBU and break that one down for me. What was that like? What went right that day? What did you see that day to go, yeah, we turned a corner. We beat a team that was supposed to finish a lot higher than us.
This group of girls, they're so much fun to coach, but we didn't perform as well as we would have liked against UNO to open up the conference. And it puts things in perspective. It's like, oh, is this going to be another season like it was before? And so we just had to really shift our mentality and came home when we were able to get the win against McNeese in a 5-setter. We fought off 9 match points to get the win. And so I think they were just hungry. It was like, we can do this. We're capable. And so going to HBU, the game day practice like we are doing now, it went really well. And it was like things were starting to click. And so we just went in there and literally, and I think it was in the 3rd set, we were nervous to win, and we're overcoming that slowly but surely. But we were literally nervous, girls shaking, almost afraid to win. And I'm like, no, we're capable of this. So it was an exciting match for sure.
Definitely one that got the attention of the conference. I want to ask you this. If anybody is watching this, then the minute that you finish watching this, you need to go out to the official Nichols Volleyball website, search through the news, and read the article about inverting the expectations. It was just printed yesterday. I loved it. I thought it was something. I've always wished I could read something like that on the Nichols Volleyball webpage through the years. How did that come about? Did you know that article was coming? Was that planned? I thought the timing of that and the way that was written was outstanding.
When I got here in meeting with administration, I knew that we had to have a complete overhaul in terms of culture and how we did things and the structure and, and it takes time. And I've said all along, I'm not going to be able to do this in a year. I'm not going to be able to do it in 2 years. And actually the shift, these girls were so hungry. The shift has happened a lot faster than I anticipated. And so we just talk about taking care of one another and playing for each other and with each other. And I didn't know that the article was coming. Since we've been winning, I've done more interviews, I think, than these girls aren't used to it. They're like, Coach, another interview? And I'm like, yes. So, but it's exciting for them and for them to be able to speak their voice and what they're feeling and how the change has helped them grow as women has been huge.
I think it's awesome because through the years, some of the teams that have historically been near the top of the conference have always truly wanted parity and the teams in Louisiana to continue to get better and better. And now we've got it. And if you look at the standings right now, they're juxtaposed way different than what they were originally picked. Let's go through. Your players are walking past you here right now. I'm going to actually let all of them get, because if they hear their name, then they might turn back around. I do want, though, to ask you about a few, because there are a few athletes that fans are going to see. I don't want to single these 3 gals out, but I think they're players that have meant something to me as I've called matches during the years at radio there and ESPN here. I first want your reaction on when you heard the story about Katie Jones. That is truly one of the fantastic stories in the South, and there's no doubt that we will get into it tonight on the broadcast. We talked about it last year on radio. But when you first talked to Katie and heard about that story, what was that relationship building like with her?
She's just an incredible woman. But having the opportunity to talk to her and tell her that I understand. My sister-in-law overcame stage 4 uterine and lung cancer just recently. So, and they live here in Texas also. So just being able to talk to her and tell her that her emotions and how she's feeling and the struggles that she's going to go through just physically, that I understood. And immediately she just came to tears because I don't think anybody ever told her, like, I understand, like, I get it. And so each day we just keep working, and she came in for strength and conditioning this summer and really pushed her body to the limits to get stronger. And she's an amazing person. So, I mean, it's very touching. And, you know, we talk about her just controlling her emotions. And when she plays so passionately, you know, the whole team gets excited. So
I had the great just fortune last year of when I got out of the car out in front of Stouffer Gymnasium. I had parked next to her relatives. And somebody in their car said something about, "You're wearing the wrong color." And then I explained who I was, and they explained who they were, and I got to chat with her family, and it was amazing. There are two I want to ask you about are two gals that are on the roster last year and did not have a major role, but have a major role this year. First, Megan Wozniak, your setter. Played in one set last year. She's walking by right here, okay? She played in one set last year, and you're running a 5-1 offense, and you got a gal who had that less and then Emily Gothrow, who played in some sets last year, less than half, but has been the main go-to. Those two players, to me, really jump off the sheet as big reasons why you've taken step forwards. Agree?
I would agree. Yes, when I got here, Megan hadn't really set in nearly 2 years since she, you know, had played club volleyball, and she comes from sports performance, which is my neck of the woods, and so I knew what her training and what her capability was. So again, just building her confidence and getting her those reps. I said, you're thousands of reps behind at this juncture, and if you want to put in the work, then you have the opportunity to earn that spot. And so she just put in the time. Even though we were playing beach volleyball, she was in the gym still working, getting those setting reps, and kind of getting her hands back. So yeah, she's definitely had a huge impact on our team, and just each match her confidence gets stronger and stronger. So
Comment on Emily. She this year leading your team in kills, attacks, kills per set. She's got the Thibodeau name. I mean, that's the name for a Nichols volleyball athlete. Watched her last year on film and when we played, but didn't get as much opportunity as she's earned this year. And she seems to really be steady, along with your transfer that you brought in from Memphis, where you were before. Those two gals seem to be anchoring down the outside. So talk about Gothrow a little bit.
Yes, Emily Gothrow, she, again, just really came in and bought in this summer in terms of strength and conditioning and, putting on some more muscle and just getting stronger as a whole, and just being so receptive. I mean, and it goes for all of them. It's not just Emily, but being receptive to the feedback that we give them and making the change. And we keep telling them, listen to what we're telling you. If you do it, you'll be a better player. If you do it, you'll be a better player. And I mean, all of them really have made that shift.
Kallie Noble, head coach at Nichols, 4-2 coming into this weekend. On a little road trip now for them. They'll be away from Thibodeau for a while. Goal of making the Southland Conference tournament. I tell you what, if you start looking at the road map, if you start looking at the standings, I think they got a good shot. Thanks, Coach, for being willing to sit down and chat.
Absolutely.